Sorry I'm late. I am late. I am late by a bit. And I apologize for that. And hold on, let me get to the... And I got on the wrong page. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up, Kim? What's up, Chris? What's up, Mike? Thank you, Convo Couch. Love you, too. What's up, Pat? What's up, Joe? Howdy, howdy, everybody. What's up, Bluebell? Good morning. Sorry I'm late. Chris Wynn, I went to my local DSA meeting Sunday and got them interested in municipal broadband. Chris, did you see the video that I posted on Tuesday about what's going on with Muni networks and what they're offering different cities? You should act quickly, and you should try to see if you can get people to, you should try to see if you can get your community to apply. Let's see. Marsha, happy Woden's Day. I'm not, pardon my ignorance, I'm not sure what that is. What is that? Tell me what that is. I'm curious to know. I feel a little ignorant because I'm not sure I know what that is. Or I do know what that is and it's something obvious and it's just not coming to me. But let me know. What's up, Hibba? What's up, Susan? What's up, Edwin? Hazy, you're seeing Johnny Marr tonight. I'm a little jealous. Johnny Marr puts on a fantastic show. If you've never seen him before, I went nuts at a Johnny Marr show. So enjoy that show. I was going to try. So Johnny Marr shows, when Johnny Marr comes to Los Angeles, you have about a 40-second window to get tickets. I swear to God. Like, like Johnny Marr will be like, hey, I'm coming, and then it sold out. So this is like the third time I tried to go to Johnny Marr, and it sold out. And I did some, like, research of where else he's coming. And Friday night, I entertained the idea of driving out to, I think Friday night he's going to be in Northern California. I entertained the idea of just taking a long road trip by myself, driving all the way up there for 4 or 5 hours, and seeing Johnny Marr and just driving home. I entertained that idea. But then I realized, I've never seen David Rovics before. That show was a lot closer to where I live. I think I'll go there instead. But, Odin is the Norse god. Wednesday is named after Woden. Oh, cool. All right. Well, I learned something new today. Mark Fabian, hello from the Berg, Ron. Thank you, Mark, and I hope to see you on November 23rd. I'm coming to Pittsburgh. Tickets available at ronplacone.com. Woot! All right. Oh, we're over. Yeah. All right, so I fucked up, and I'm not on the, like, the setting that I want to be on, and I don't know how to get back. Let me see if I can somehow get back to my dashboard. I don't know how I fucked this up, but I did. Let me see if I can get back. I think I can get back. Oh, I'm back. All right. This will be easier for me to monitor the chat. Of course, Pasta is hanging out, and he's helping out with the chat as well. Oh, man. Dude, everyone, a bunch of you are going to see Johnny Marr. All right, that's just... Everybody gets to see Johnny Marr but me. That's the theme of the show. All right. I'm back where I need to be. Sorry about that. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. I am Ron Placone, your host. I'm a little late today. Sorry about that. I was chatting with a buddy on the phone, and I just kind of lost track of time. I know, but I apologize. And somebody pointed out, I drink water from a mason jar. I do. Somebody pointed that out on in a chat or in the comment section. I saw that. They were like, Placone drinks water from a mason jar. He's like, yeah, I do. I do all that stuff. They're convenient. Guys, all right, so today's topic, this is going to be a broad one and a fun one. And it's going to be based on a dream that I had. Now, I tweeted this, so some of you might have already seen this. I had a dream last night that, or maybe this morning, actually, I don't even know, but I woke up and I remembered the dream, that James Harrison, who is James Harrison? James Harrison is, I think he's retired now, finally, but, because he was older, but he was a defensive player and he played mostly for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was a linebacker, and he was great. He was one of the best. I mean, he will be in the Hall of Fame. He was one of the best defensive players in all of football. I mean, he was up there. And man, I mean, that Steeler defense that brought them the Super Bowl in '06 when they came from behind. They were a wild card team, barely made the playoffs, and their defense just gelled together, and they dominated, and they won the Super Bowl. And so anyway, I had a dream that James Harrison ran for office. I don't know what he ran for exactly. Again, this is a dream, so it's only so clear. But James Harrison ran for some kind of office, and he was a huge progressive. And he built a ton of momentum, and everyone was so stoked for James Harrison running for office. And I woke up, and I was just like, what the hell was that? And I have no idea what James Harrison's personal politics are. I have no clue. The only thing I've ever seen from him where he was remotely political was, he's been outspoken against Roger Goodell, which I appreciate. And then he doesn't like participation trophies. I don't even know if that counts as being remotely political. I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at it. But point is, I have no idea what this dude's personal politics are. No freaking clue. But I think what that dream was getting at is, I think the dream was getting at, my subconscious was telling me that, man, whether we like it or not, we need some kind of leadership. You know what I mean? Like, we have all... The progressive movement is growing, slow but sure. There are people that are realizing that we have a serious problem in this country, and incrementalism isn't going to solve it. And that's where I'm at. You know, I'm not... I don't consider the, quote, centrists are... Like, they just don't... Like, they entertain this notion that doing the same thing and expecting things to be different will somehow work. And I don't understand how they entertain that theory when you look at the world we're in right now. We are mirroring, and I know that we've talked about this so many times, we are mirroring the Great Depression in so many ways. What happened after that was the rise of labor. What happened after that was that FDR realized, you know what, we're going to have an uprising in this country if we don't do something. So what did he do? He created Social Security and a jobs program. And why did all that happen? Because we had organized socialist parties. We had an organized labor movement. We had all that stuff going on. And we got all these things even though we were told that the government was broke, that everything was broke, everyone was broke. No. When they need the money for something, they got it. When they need the money for something, they got it. We got the money for universal health care. We're already spending it. We got the money to have an actual Green New Deal, to have a jobs program, to have free college. We got the money for all that. So we need some kind of leadership, and we need a real organized labor movement. And I know that's easier said than done. I know that's not easily done, because I don't know exactly how to get it. But, you know, in my song, Time for Revolution, one of the lines is, go tell the DSA, GP, and SA it's time for revolution. Now, are there more groups that should be in that cluster too? Yes, but I picked those three groups because they rhyme. And I'm referring to Democratic Socialists for America, I'm referring to Socialist Alternative, and I'm referring to the Green Party. The point of that line is saying, hey, we got all these groups, we gotta fucking gel, and we gotta kind of get a common cause. And you know, this idea that we can take a lesson or two from the Tea Party, I think in theory, there's some, and when I say take a lesson from the Tea Party, I mean, obviously we disagree with the Tea Party about everything. I just mean that the Tea Party, they really coalesced and just took over the Republican Party. But this idea that we can take some notes out of their playbook, that's a little, well, that's well-intentioned, and I think strategically there's some truth in that. Overall, that's not going to get us too far. Because if we met with the Tea Party, let's say that some big Tea Party representative met with some of the progressives, and we said, hey, look, we disagree on everything politically, but, you know, you guys want to end the wars at least. We have that in common. So can you give us some pointers here? You know, because you guys don't like the Democratic establishment either. Maybe you'll like us a little better. Who knows? But can you give us some pointers? They would say, all right, pointer number 1, get a fuckload of money from the Koch brothers. And then we'd be like, oh, that's not, yeah, we can't do that. That's not going to happen for us. Do you have another idea? And they're like, well, shit, that's the important first step. We can't do that first step. Well, then I don't know what to tell you. What I'm saying is, our movement is a real grassroots movement. The Tea Party was not. So, you know, making that comparison only gets us so far. So my question is, how do we start to gel? And I know that's very broad. We're not going to answer it all today. But, man, how do we start to gel? Let me turn it over to you guys. And Platypus, thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. Good to see you. I know it's very early in Australia. And, man, I did a show last night, and there was a comic from Australia there. And she was very nice. She was very friendly. And, God, it just made me want to tour Australia so bad. Last time Lee Camp was on the show, we talked about touring Australia together. I was probably more serious about the idea than he was. But, I don't know, maybe I need to see if he's into it. So how do we kind of gel together? I think what we need to do is we need to act locally in our communities, and we need to build alliances, kind of like what Gail McLaughlin did. Because what I just described, Gail McLaughlin did that on a small level in Richmond, and if she did it, we can do it. And when I say we, I mean everybody in their own community. Because I think if every community does something like that, and we start seeing at the local level how that type of cooperation can work, well, then we're going to do it on a big level too. And, you know, structurally, that is technically what the Tea Party did. They had a lot of money behind them that we don't have. But they also had a ground game that started at the smallest level. It started in city council. It started on school boards. It started on running for mayor, whatever else. Chris is saying something similar. We need a new rainbow coalition like when the Black Panthers teamed up with Southern white groups for a common cause. Natural Progressive, late to the party. I was late to the party too, so don't worry about it. But am I the only one that has been trolled by establishment Dems, voter shame, called horrendous names? I can answer for other people here. No, of course not. Of course not. That applies to probably everybody here. I know that applies to me. I know that applies to you, Natural Progressive, and I guarantee that that applies to everyone here. So let me see. Pasta's helping me out with the chat. It's time for Plan B, Placone Pasta 2020. You don't want me in office. Pasta, on the other hand, needs to run for city council. Me, you don't want in office. Trust me. Centrist or secretly right-wing? Chris, I think that's true for most of them. I think others, they don't realize that that strategy just isn't going to work. I think there's a lot of people, and I guess when we say Democrats, we need to be real specific about what we mean. Or when we say centrist, excuse me, we need to be real specific by what we mean. I think there's a lot of centrists out there. They're sticking with the Democrats because they think it's their best bet. And they're sticking with the establishment because they think it's their best bet. And I think we're just at a moment where incrementalism is not going to work. And that's an understatement. Like, it's just not. Doing the same thing and expecting different results is literally the definition of being insane. And this whole idea that, like, well, the most important thing is getting the fascist out. Look, I am with you that Trump is a special level of despicable as a person. He is... The fact that he's president is gross. I mean, it's so gross. This plutocratic billionaire who has been a scam artist his entire life and is a TV show host is our president. That's ridiculous. Of course. It's ridiculous. And I don't think he has any actual convictions on anything, but he surrounds himself with Nazi sympathizers. It's disgusting. But something got us to this point. We weren't in a hunky-dory place and then Trump showed up. Something got us to Trump. And if you don't address what got us to Trump, we're just going to get more Trumps and they're going to be worse next time. We can get rid of him and then we're going to get a worse Trump in 4 to 8 years. That's what's going to happen. So this idea that, well, we just need to defeat Trump and it doesn't matter what we defeat him with, we just got to defeat him, that's short-sighted and misdirected. Even though I think a lot of those people, their heart's in the right place. Some of them, not so much. Some centrists, they're just Republicans that don't want to be called Republicans. And at the establishment level, that's the case. They're just Republicans that don't want to be called Republicans. They're conservatives in denial. As Marcus coined, they're cappuccino conservatives. And it'd be nice if they just went over to the GOP, but when the Democrats are behaving like a center-right party too, well, they got their part. It's like what I say, like, if you're a conservative, I don't know what you have to complain about. That's why conservative talk shows, they need to make up issues to be outraged about something. Because every real issue in this country is considered a progressive issue. Like, every single one. I mean, just go down the list. Healthcare, education, fracking, the environment in general, living wages, college, debt, racism, sexism, homophobia. What's conservative causes? Are college campuses too PC? Are they too PC? I'm worried that they're too PC, and these kids with all their PC-ness are just going to be PCing everywhere. There's not a couple rich white guys in a think tank made that shit up. That's what happened. A couple rich white guys in a think tank made that shit up. The last time they were in college, women didn't have the right to vote yet, or as they like to call it, when America was great, and they're making this shit up. If you are politically conservative, if you're a conservative who thinks gay people are human beings, you got the Democrats. If you're a conservative who thinks who likes to go to the megachurch on Sunday, you got the Republicans. If you're a conservative who takes Ayn Rand seriously and doesn't masturbate enough, you got the Libertarians. Like, they got everything. Progressives, we got nothing. We got nothing. We got the Green Party, which is still trying to frame an identity. And and some people are trying to dem enter. Some are seeing a little bit of success with it. Some not so much. But there's so many things set up in the Democratic Party to prevent that from happening. Yet we have all these groups that are doing amazing things. All these groups that are just doing beautiful, amazing things. And if we came together, I mean, let me see what you guys are saying. Edwin, municipal broadband is the most important issue. We need to get our message to others. Then we can gel like Gail McLaughlin. I like your thoughts, Edwin. I don't like to say one issue is the most important and one's less important. I mean, municipal internet is my cause of choice because I've been paying attention to it for a long time. I've been involved in the media reform movement since 2004, which then goes into connectivity issues. So I've been paying attention to net neutrality and municipal broadband since 2004. I see the need for it. And it's something that I can speak to a lot because, you know, it affects my livelihood, quite frankly. It affects my ability to do this show. It affects everyone's ability to get messages out there. And as a content creator, dominantly in the internet sphere, that's my wheelhouse. So municipal internet is my cause of choice. Other people's causes of choice might be something different. Maybe animal rights is your bag. Maybe fracking is your situation. You know, especially I know some of you are up in my hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There's a huge anti-fracking swell going on in Pittsburgh. And when I still lived there, you know what we did in the community where my parents live? We had a really progressive mayor who unfortunately passed away not too terribly long ago. He was a friend. And he got a drilling ban. He got a drilling ban in the community because he rallied for it. He got people behind him. The movement got behind him. He ran for mayor. He frickin' won. And I sleep a little easier at night knowing that there is a drilling ban where my parents live. So, you know, talking about coalitions, talking about acting locally. There's an example right there. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Rutherford points out, most people want instant gratification, but you need to think of politics in terms of 10 to 12-year plans. That is true. People give up on movements after 1, 2, or 4 years. I think that's true in a lot of cases, not in all. And I think that if we had a more clearly defined movement, it would help. But, again, getting back to what I just said earlier, every issue is ours. Every real issue is ours. Like every single one falls on us. Like, if you're a progressive, every single issue that's wrong with this country and the world. I know a lot of you aren't even in the United States. Some of you guys are watching from Australia. Some are watching from... shout out your countries. I know that Platypus is here. She lives in Australia. Where else are people from? Let me know. Jenna points out, our Bernie Sanders endorsed progressive Democratic candidate for lieutenant governor in PA openly supports fracking. Ooh, I'm not familiar with that, but that really sucks to hear that. Yeah, that really sucks to hear that. Because that should be a no-brainer for, people in Pennsylvania that support fracking. That's not good, especially if they're Democrats even. They should not be supporting fracking. All right. Let's see here. Chris points out, when's the last time you saw people marching in the streets for war, tax cuts, deregulation, fracking? It's because no average Joe wants it. Are you saying that average Joes don't want... Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. When have you... Okay. I see what you're saying, Chris. I misunderstood. Yeah, when's the last time you saw people marching in the streets for war, or tax cuts, or deregulation, or fracking? Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen the, let's drill, baby, drill, baby. That'd be the most boring march in the history of ever. Let's drill, baby, drill. We're already drilling. Well, let's keep it up. Why are you out here? You're wasting an afternoon. War. We already got like 8 of them. How many do you want? Well, let's keep it up. War. Like, what's your problem? You have a serious problem. All right. So we got to figure out how to gel. I don't have all the answers for that. None of us do. It's not an easy question to answer right away, but all right, so John Fetterman, Jenna points out, is the person that supports fracking. You know, I only have so much time to dedicate to PA politics, but admittedly I do pay attention because I have a lot of family that still lives there. And I'm going to be in Pittsburgh on November 23rd. I hope to see some of you there. And I really hope that some of those DSA members that picked off the Costas, I really hope they'll come to the show. I'm going to tweet at them and offer them, compliment, like, guest passes. Like, I'm going to be like, come to the show as my guest. And I'm really hoping they come because, that made me so happy. That made me so freaking happy when they picked off the Costas. For anyone not in the know, the Costas are they are the Clintons of Western Pennsylvania. And it was so beautiful to see them get picked off. And by picked off, I mean somebody beat them in an election. So let's go to your stuff. I've been so loopy today. Just been loopy. Just been looping up like a loop. I'm like a loop guy. Loopy McLooperson, that's me. And this first article, I retweeted it a while ago. Warnings of U.S. attack on Iran after cartoon villain rhetoric of John Bolton and Trump's warmongering at the UN. At the UN. I said UN. Did you hear me do that? I'm totally George W. Bushing my words. I totally do that sometimes because I'm seeing all this shit for the first time. The Trump administration pretends that this is their way to get diplomacy going. The rest of the world fully understands that this is their way of starting war. Experts warned of the possibility of war as Senate Democrats prepared to introduce legislation aimed at stopping the Trump administration from attacking Iran on Wednesday, following a belligerent speech by National Security Advisor John Bolton at a meeting of anti-Iran groups. Bolton, who helped lead the Bush administration into war in Iraq, oh boy, and has pushed for the U.S. to overthrow Iran's government for years, told his audience that Iran would have hell to pay if the country did not change its behavior. Man, what? We are watching and we will come after you. That's a quote from Bolton's speech directed at Iran. We are watching and we will come after you. That's... Man, if other countries behaved like us, we'd bomb them. That's what we would do. If other countries behaved like this, if other countries warmongered the way we did, said these gross threatening things like we do, we would bomb them. We would preemptively bomb them. Because we'd be like, they're disrupting the peace. We're the world's bully. We get to do that. And now the guy that helped construct Iraq, we know how great that's going. Now he's got his eyes on Iran. And they're going to try for it. I mean, when you have a fringe right administration like the Trump administration, of course they're going to go for a big war. They're going to go for a big war because it pads their pockets. They make money off of it. The defense contractors get even richer. And we got a big economic problem at home. There's no jobs for people. So the powers that be, the people that want to maintain the status quo, it'd be nice to have a war to ship some of these people out of the country so they don't have to worry about giving them jobs. Whew. All right, thanks for sharing that. We got a lot of stuff to get to. Sorry, guys, I'm doing that whole thing where I have to scroll the timeline because I want to... This is interesting. So this is from Long Beach. We're going to go over to Kansas City. Kansas City is taking us to Long Beach. Billboard with "Vaccines can kill" message goes up in Kansas City. Okay. Oh, in Kansas City, Missouri, a billboard is getting the attention of drivers on Blue Parkway. The billboard features a New Jersey toddler and a message from his mother claiming he was killed by vaccinations. It went up a few days ago, and now the Kansas City Health Department is pushing back. It is becoming more common that we see that there is some concern, said Tiffany Wilkinson of the Health Department. However, we try to relay to them that vaccines are safe and effective. The Learn the Risk organization has over 30 billboards across the country. No one from the organization was available for an interview on Tuesday. Well, I am 100% pro-vaccination. Because I have not seen anything to feel otherwise. If there was some issue for a particular child, that I think that was just negligence on the health professional's part, not the vaccine itself. I mean, maybe there was a situation where a child had some type of allergy or some type of reaction, and maybe the proper preventative work was not done. I mean, they always try to screen for allergens to medications. I mean, they always, when you go to the doctor, they always ask you, are you allergic to anything? What are you allergic to? Because they try to see. I mean, there are people that are allergic to certain types of medications. That's something that happens. The human body is very complex, and it's still evolving, or our way to help it and heal it is still evolving. Medicine is still evolving. Medicine is not perfect. It's called practicing medicine for a reason. Being against vaccinations is not the answer. Is there an area where a healthy amount of skepticism towards some kinds of Western medicine is a good thing? Absolutely. There are bribes from Big Pharma that go on, where they give doctors free lunch and stuff like that. And you should be aware of that and wary of it. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know much about this group. I don't know much about what they're all about. But I do not share an anti-vaxxer stance at all. I am pro-vaccination, and I know that some people are going to be like, well, you supported Jill Stein. She wasn't an anti-vaxxer. They took what she said completely out of context and ran with it because they were lazy and were looking for smears. But anyway, yeah, there you go. Thank you for sharing that. I'll go over to the Reddit. In a minute here. This is from Joe. Alex Jones says he already won and is ready to die. Okay. Alright. I don't really want to watch the video, but Alex Jones said that his mission is to destroy the globalist conspiracy has been completed, and that he is at peace with himself and is ready to die. That's pretty dark. Patrick Bet-David, the host of the Valuetainment YouTube channel, a platform mostly dedicated to topics on business and entrepreneurship, sat down for a one-on-one interview with Jones that was uploaded to YouTube. Okay, during the interview, he repeatedly pressed Jones to answer whether he believed he was responsible for his deplatforming and what regrets he had, if any. At one point, Bet-David asked why Jones believed he was alive, given that Jones has repeatedly claimed throughout his career on air that Democrats murder people who get too close to the truth. Jones responded, well, they're murdering my name. They're assassinating me. And he gets him back towards the question. Yeah, but you've said Hillary kills all these people who get close to her. So if you're opposing the most powerful Democrat in the marketplace, because they thought I was a joke, like a poison, I titrated, and it's the way God works. It isn't me. Okay. All right. It's pretty dark. Alex Jones is actually younger than, at least according to Wikipedia, Alex Jones is younger than he looks. Like, he's actually not that old. So I think it's kind of sad that he's, quote-unquote, ready to die, because he's not that old of a guy. He is, I believe he's 43 years old. I'm pretty sure Alex Jones is 43 years old. He looks older, I would say. I mean, I guess it's, matter of opinion. But and I've been 27 since 1933, so, But I don't take Alex Jones seriously. I mean, I just don't. We've talked about the whole deplatforming thing and a better solution for those situations, which I think is making something like Facebook a public utility and having it abide by free speech laws, which, again, are free speech laws in the United States. Alex Jones may have violated them. That should be decided by a court of law, not people appointed by Mark Zuckerberg. That's how I feel. That being said, I don't value Alex Jones or his content. And he makes healthy skepticism look bad. That's what people like that do. They make, whenever you question anything from the establishment, you'll be lumped into his camp automatically. And so that's why I'm not really a fan, and I don't really have any use for what he's doing. It's not, I don't really watch many of his videos. I just sort of, you read about stuff when he, goes into whatever territory he goes into. And that's all I got to say about that guy. And I would encourage him to choose life. Maybe lay off his energy drinks that I believe have lead in them. Maybe lay off those. Try something natural instead. Join a crop share, Alex. Get some vegetables. Eat them. Veggies are good. Go hiking more. I know you live in Austin. It's pretty hot out there. I don't know when a good hiking season would be. I'm sure it's not the summer, though. And I'm sure it's still summer-esque weather, even though it's late September, but I bet it's still hot in Austin. I'll be there in November, by the way, Austin. But, yeah, Alex, you've made a lot of money. I'm sure you're not hurting financially. You should just try to enjoy life more. If this show ended tomorrow, I wouldn't be like, I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die. I'd be like, well, I guess, this chapter closed. Whether I chose it or not, the chapter's closed. And to my knowledge, his show's still going on. It's not, like, he's still doing it. You just gotta get his app or whatever. So I don't know why he's saying he's ready to die. But he's a performance artist. He's an actor, and he likes to go for the drama. And yeah, he's a hell of a character actor. Really, hell of a character actor. So what are you gonna do? But if he's serious, which he's probably not, But if he is, I hope he chooses life, and finds I mean, dude, maybe maybe froyo's your thing, Alex. Like maybe you gotta just like he's like, I never knew. Wouldn't that be a fun thing to ponder? Like what other hobbies he'll get into, and I know he's still doing his show, but what other things he can get into to maybe unplug a little bit, like the things. That would be a fun video series. I would freaking do that with him because I think that'd be like it's like finding fun in the small things with Alex Jones. Like we'd just be like, we go get frozen yogurt, and he's like, you can put Captain Crunch in it. This is even though the he's like, they put the same stuff in Captain Crunch as the stuff that makes the frogs gay, and it's like we're back now. You were just enjoying this a second ago, Alex. You were real excited. You were putting different kinds of whipped cream on your frozen yogurt. Now you're back. And he's like, You go on a hike with him. He's like, oh, you know what they put in this water, don't you? The DNC's paying you to take me on this hike. And then you're like, focus, Alex. Meditate. It's going to be okay. All right. Let's see what's going on over on Reddit. This is a heavy one. So the question that just went world peace leaves here is, how much is a species worth? ? So let's see what this is all about. This is a Medium piece here. I'm not familiar with the author, a person named Tamir. I'm not familiar with that person. But let's see what this is all about. How much is a species worth? Conservationists don't often consider economics. Here's why they should. Okay. As darkness falls over the plains of Zimbabwe, an American hunter fires an arrow at a lion named Cecil. He goes on to receive death threats and forced into hiding. Elsewhere in the savannah, Maasai tribesmen poison a group of lions, killing 2. They're later arrested. It's natural for us to react emotionally, but would you have felt differently if you knew the hunt contributed $50,000 to wildlife conservation? What about if you know poison lions have been preying on Maasai farmers' cattle, or that the deforesters are local subsistence farmers who rely on the rainforest resources for survival? Conservation is a notoriously difficult issue to navigate. It's very true. So according to what this article is citing, this is the cost of global conservation, $76 billion. The U.S. spends 7, Canada spends 1, and the rest are spending this much, so we're not making the estimates, basically, according to this article. So it's asking, how do we decide which animals to protect? Look, I'll go bigger picture here. It's up to us to cooperate within nature, because we are over-consuming. We are using the earth as our playground, and it's not our playground. We are guests on it. So yes, I understand that we have to have some amount of action on the earth, some amount of unpleasant things to function the way humankind has evolved to. But we also have a call for stewardship. We have a call to be as sustainable as we possibly can. We're not even close to that. We're off by miles. You don't need to be an environmental scientist to know that. You just have to be awake. So to jump into what species should we save, which ones shouldn't we save, that's not our place to make that call. What our job is to say, how can we live as sustainably as possible? We will have an impact on the environment no matter what. We are, by definition, a virus on the earth and on the environment. We do consume, we deplete resources. But how do we behave as sustainably as possible to have minimum impact? Right now, we are behaving like a deadly cancer. But I believe we have the potential to behave like a common cold. So instead of talking about which species we should eliminate or not, why don't we talk about how can we become more like a common cold? Because I think if we did that, there'd be less danger for a lot of species. So that article brings up some points. It looks at things differently than, people will look at them automatically. But I think that the call for action is misdirected. It's not like, which species do we kill off? Which ones do we save? It's, how do we behave in a better fashion so that we're more like a common cold, not a deadly cancer to the earth? Because then we'll just have a better ecosystem in general. And, some people might say I'm sounding a little too kumbaya hippie right now, and maybe I am. But I think that's the task we should be trying to achieve, not trying to pick and choose what we eliminate. So, that's how I feel. I'm going to go to the chat. That was our last story for today. Let me see what you guys are saying. Chris Wynn says that Cuba is the only country in the world that's environmentally stable. That's interesting. I'm not familiar with that. But yeah, that'd be something interesting to look into. Mother Nature is real. Yes. Garden Gnome points out all animals are doomed if we keep doing this, of course. Yeah, and you know what? The Earth isn't going anywhere. We will. Natural progressive, every species is important and has a much bigger impact than temporary economic impacts. I agree completely. Let's see. Does any of you guys think that getting frozen yogurt with Alex Jones will be a funny YouTube series? Doing common things with Alex Jones to try to get his mind off it all. Oh, Daniel suggests scrapbooking. Like it. Nathan points out, George Carlin said Mother Earth will shake us off like a bad case of the fleas. You are so right. Yes. And man, George Carlin. Did I tell you guys I got to see George Carlin's record collection? Did I ever tell you about that? There's not much of a story behind it, but yeah, I got to see George Carlin's record collection, which I probably would not have become a comedian if it wasn't for George Carlin. George Carlin and Bill Hicks. Those are the two. And I know those are two obvious choices. But, man, those are the people that really inspired me a lot. And they're why I got into comedy. And I got to see George Carlin's record collection. I was at a party at his daughter Kelly's house, and it was later in the evening. There were only a couple people left. And the person that I went to the party with is good friends with her. So we were just kind of in this den that she has. And I was kind of just looking at the records. And I was like, man, Kelly, you got some really good stuff here. And she goes, that's my father's collection. So I was like, I am looking at George Carlin's record collection. And then the next day I called my dad. And I was like, hey, man, you might find this interesting. I might be the only person in the world that has seen both of them. And in my humble opinion, your record collection is slightly better than George Carlin's. They're both very good, but I think yours is a little better. And then he was like, well, when I die, you know it'll be yours. And I was like, oh, why did you have to... I mean, okay, but that was a weird... Okay, all right. I don't know why you had to take it there, but yeah, I know. But anyway. Bluebell, you got to meet George Carlin. I never got to meet him. You know, I'll regret this for the rest of my life. I moved to Seattle, Washington in the year 2007. And I was so stoked to be living on the West Coast. I was so stoked to be living in Seattle. And I was just celebrating my new life, and I was going to a lot of shows. But I didn't have a lot of money. I had just moved across the country. I had recently graduated college. I didn't have a lot of money to my name, so I had to pick and choose. George Carlin came to town, and I thought, Carlin will be back next year. I'll wait a year. He died. He died the following year. So my opportunity to see George Carlin, I did not go. And I'll regret that forever. I will regret that forever. But, yeah. Yeah, Seattle's great, man. I miss it. Seattle was a fantastic city. I do miss it. I still get back up there to visit some. And, you know, the Progressive Comedy Tour will be there next year. That's a promise. Speaking of which, guys, I'll do a little housekeeping to end the show. You know how I like to do things. Tour dates coming up. November 2nd and 3rd. November 2nd, Sacramento, California. November 3rd, San Francisco, California. I'm going to be there with Graham Elwood. And Peter Douche is going to be opening those shows. Guys, get your tickets soon. We're running low on them. Those shows are going to sell out. Get your tickets soon if you want to come to those shows. RonPlacone.com for tickets. November 4th, this is newly announced. Tickets aren't available yet, but they'll be available very soon. November 4th, Santa Barbara, California. All my California friends further out in Santa Barbara, we're coming November 4th. We originally were scheduled for November 17th. There was an issue. We had to switch it around. We are coming November 4th. If you had tickets for the 17th and you refunded them, please do grab tickets for the 4th, November 4th. Details will be available on that real soon. November 10th, I'm going to be in Austin, Texas for a show with our sponsor, ZT, ZHITEA.com, doing a show in their shop to celebrate East, which is a big art walk in Austin. Hopefully it's not too hot. Hopefully Alex Jones joins East and he just, you know, he just relaxes a little bit, enjoys it, maybe gets a little trinket, and he's like, this friendship bracelet is awesome. And there's no conspiracies in it. I never realized the joy of friendship bracelets, and now I just want to... I'm just going to have a talk show about music instead. And guys, November 23rd, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tickets are up for that, are available, RonPlacone.com. And January, just announced, January 11th, Orlando, Florida. January 9th, tickets will be available real soon. We just confirmed Gainesville, Florida. We're going to be in Gainesville, Florida, January 9th. And we're either going to be in Tampa, Jacksonville, or Miami as well. There's going to be more Florida dates to come. But right now, the ones that are confirmed, January 9th over in Gainesville, January 11th in Orlando. Tickets for Gainesville will be available very, very soon. Tickets for Orlando are available now. And Los Angeles, tonight is Politics Night at the Dojo. Los Angeles, Politics Night at the Dojo is tonight. Alonzo Bowden headlines. He's great. It's a great lineup. If you're in Los Angeles, please come out. That's at Sycamore Tavern, right on Sunset and Sycamore. There is free parking. So please come out tonight. I'd love to see you. I'd love to hang out. I'd love to chat. Natural Progressive, thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. Thank you very much for that. And last but certainly not least, if you want to support this show on the sustainable end, patreon.com/RonPlacone. I'm really, really close to hitting a new goal. For a pay-what-you-can level, you get all kinds of exclusive perks, plus free admissions to my shows. There are some limitations there, but free admissions to my shows for the most part if you want them. And you're going to get my album delivered to your inbox when it comes out in November. and we are editing that album as we speak, and I'm so stoked to deliver that album to you. There will be stand-up on it, and yes, there will be music on it too, and I'm so stoked for you guys to hear it. I love you all very much. Thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you for helping me keep my sanity. Thank you for entertaining my goofy asides. And that's right, free parking in LA. I said it. Yeah. And I will see you tomorrow. And we have a very special guest, and it will be particular to what's going on with municipal internet. So get your questions ready. It's going to be a fun one.